I want to get you to that tragic mass shooting in Shreveport, Louisiana. Police say 8 children ranging in age from 3 to 11 years old were killed in a violent domestic incident. 7 of them were the gunman's own children, and the 8th was their cousin. Officers killed Shamar Elkins after he stole a car at gunpoint and led them on a chase. 2 women and a teenager were also shot, but they are expected to survive. Here's what the chair of Shreveport's City Council had to say yesterday on the scene.
I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to act because I've lost 8 parts of me.
8 children, 1 morning, no mercy. Before we begin, this episode covers the deaths of 8 children. If you need to step away, please do. But if you stay, I need you to hear every name, because they deserve to be remembered. Sunday, April 19th, 2026, Shreveport, Louisiana. It's just after 6 in the morning. Most of the city is still asleep. The Cedar Grove neighborhood is quiet, a typical Sunday, nothing unusual. Then, the first 911 call comes in. The caller is whispering, she's on a roof. She tells the dispatcher that a man is inside the house and that he has just shot everyone inside. Minutes pass, another call, same neighborhood, same suspect. Then a third call, a block away on Harrison Street. A woman, shot in the face, used Siri to dial 911 because she could no longer move her hands. By the time Shreveport police arrived at 6:01 a.m., they encountered a scene that veteran officers would later struggle to describe. 8 children dead. The youngest, just 3 years old. The oldest, 11. Most of them had been shot in the head. Most of them had been asleep. Police spokesperson Chris Bordelon told reporters, "It is a disgusting and evil scene." And the man responsible, their own father. Before we go any further, I want to say their names. Not as statistics, not as a number, but as children who had birthdays and favorite foods and people who loved them. Shamar Elkins, 3 years old. Shamar Elkins, 5. Kayla Pug, 6. Kadarian Snow, 6. Braylon Snow, 5. Layla Pug, 7. Markaden Pug, 10. Saria Snow, 11 years old. 8 children, 7 of them siblings, 1, their cousin, all gone before sunrise on a Sunday morning. Just 2 days before the killings, their father posted a smiling photo on Facebook with all of them, Easter Sunday at church. The caption read, "Happy Easter, had a wonderful time at church for the first time with all my kids, what a blessed day." By the following Sunday, they were dead. A neighbor, Freddie Montgomery, told CNN he had seen the family just 1 day before. The father was sitting on the porch. The kids were playing in the yard. They waved to each other. Just yesterday afternoon, Montgomery said, the possible person that did this thing was sitting on the porch and I waved at him. All the kids were playing in the yard. Nothing seemed wrong. Nothing seemed off. And yet by sunrise the next morning, those same children who had been laughing and playing in that yard would never laugh again. Let's walk through exactly what happened minute by minute. Saturday evening, April 18th. Troy Brown, Elkins' brother-in-law, lives in the home on West 79th Street. He leaves for work that evening. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. Elkins seems stressed, but calm. Brown goes to work. The children go to sleep. Somewhere between midnight and 6 a.m., something snaps. Elkins leaves the home and walks roughly a block to Harrison Street. That's where Christina Snow lives, the mother of 3 of his children, Saria, Kadarian, and Braylon. He knocks on her door. When she opens it, he shoots her in the face. Christina Snow, critically injured, unable to move, uses Siri on her phone to call 911. Her 3 children, still in the home, are then taken. Elkins returns to the main residence, the house where his wife, Shanaqua, his other children, and the extended family sleep. He goes inside. He shoots Shaniqua in the face. Then, in what police describe as a methodical rampage, he moves through the home and shoots the children, one by one, most of them in their beds, most of them in the head. A 12-year-old girl, initially misidentified in early reports, manages to climb onto the roof. She calls 911, whispering. She tells police what's happening inside. Then she jumps. She survives with broken bones. The 8th child, found dead on the back roof, did not make it. 6:01 a.m., police arrive. Officers reach West 79th Street. What they find stops them cold. Shreveport Police Chief Wayne Smith, a seasoned officer, told reporters afterward, "I just don't know what to say. My heart is just taken aback. I cannot begin to imagine how such an event could occur." But Elkins was already gone. He had carjacked a vehicle near the intersection of Linwood Avenue and West 79th Street, forcing a man out at gunpoint, and fled north into Bossier Parish. Police pursued him. The chase ended when officers confronted him. They opened fire. Shamar Elkins was killed at the scene. No officers were injured. Who was Shamar Elkins, and how did we get here? On paper, his background wasn't what you might expect from someone capable of this. Shamar Elkins, 31 years old, had served in the Louisiana Army National Guard for 7 years, from 2013 to 2020. He worked as both a signal support system specialist and a fire support specialist. He left the Army as a private. He was never deployed. He had also worked for UPS. He was, by all accounts, an involved father. His social media was filled with photos of his children. But underneath that surface, cracks had been forming for a long time. In January 2026, just 3 months before the killings, Elkins voluntarily checked into the local VA hospital for mental health treatment. He stayed for over a week. When he came home, family said he seemed happy, better. His cousin Crystal Brown told CNN he loved his kids, but she also said everything had started to feel like it was falling apart for him. His brother-in-law Troy Brown tried to keep him engaged. "I would constantly talk to my brother-in-law. Let's sit outside, let's play dominoes, let's play cards, let's go for a walk." Brown had even asked if Elkins needed to go back to the hospital. Elkins said, "No, I'm just gonna deal with it." At the heart of the breakdown, his marriage was ending. Elkins and his wife Shaniqua were in the middle of a separation. Family members told the New York Times he had expressed dark thoughts and suicidal ideation as the divorce proceedings moved forward. There were accusations of infidelity on both sides, financial strain, and the couple were due in court the very next Monday, April 20th, the day after the killings. Elkins shared 4 children with his wife and 3 with Christina Snow, who lived nearby. The 2 households, tangled in conflict, were about to face a formal legal reckoning. Police Chief Wayne Smith said at a Monday press conference that the violence appeared to stem from a domestic dispute. He added, "The chances are good that this was not the first time." Here's where this gets even more troubling. Shamar Elkins was a convicted felon. In 2019, he had been convicted on a firearms-related charge, meaning he was legally prohibited from owning or possessing a gun. Yet on the morning of April 19th, he had a small-caliber handgun and a rifle-style pistol. Investigators traced the rifle used in the shooting. It led them to a 56-year-old Shreveport man named Charles Ford. Ford was arrested and charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm and making false statements to federal agents. According to the Department of Justice, Ford initially denied having the gun, then admitted he kept it under his seat and believed Elkins had taken it. U.S. Attorney Zachary Keller stated, "Our law enforcement partners are investigating every angle of how this tragedy came to occur, in particular, how Elkins secured a firearm that he used to execute his own children." Execute his own children. Those were the words used by the United States Attorney. In the days that followed, investigators worked to answer a question the whole country was asking. How does a convicted felon, a man legally barred from touching a firearm, end up with 2 guns and 8 dead children? The arrest of Charles Ford on April 22, 2026, just 3 days after the killings, suggested the answer wasn't complicated. It was a firearm that was carelessly accessible, a gun under a seat, a weapon that ended up in the worst possible hands. The ATF and Shreveport Police Department jointly traced the rifle. The chain led directly back to Ford. The DOJ moved fast. ATF Special Agent in Charge Joshua Jackson said, "Holding people accountable does not stop with the person who pulled the trigger, but also includes those who give access to and proliferate firearms that are later used in violent crime." Meanwhile, Louisiana State Police took over the investigation into the officer-involved shooting that killed Elkins during the pursuit. Shreveport Police stated there was no indication of any wrongdoing by officers. Community leaders and advocates immediately raised broader questions. Elkins had a prior weapons conviction. He had voluntarily sought mental health treatment just months before. He had reportedly expressed suicidal thoughts. His family was aware he was struggling. And yet, on April 19th, he had access to firearms and no intervention had reached him in time. The Shreveport community is now asking, were there warning signs? Were there missed opportunities? Could this have been stopped? Shreveport's mayor described the shooting as horrific and said it rattled the entire city. The 8 deaths more than doubled the total number of homicides in Shreveport and Caddo Parish for the entire year up to that point. This was not just a family tragedy, it was a civic wound. As of late April 2026, here is where this case stands. Shamar Elkins is dead, killed in a police pursuit in Bossier Parish just hours after the murders. He will never stand trial. He will never face a jury. He will never be forced to look at the faces of the people who loved those children. For many in the community, that is its own kind of injustice. Charles Ford, the man accused of giving Elkins access to the firearm, has been charged with being a felon in possession of a weapon and making false statements to federal agents. His case is being prosecuted by the United States Attorney's Office for the Western District of Louisiana. Both women who were shot, Shaniqua Elkins and Christina Snow, are expected to survive, according to KSLA News. Their recovery will be long. Their grief will be longer. The 12-year-old girl who jumped from the roof, showing a courage and presence of mind that is almost impossible to comprehend, survived with broken bones. She escaped. She will carry this for the rest of her life. The Cedar Grove neighborhood, where this happened, has become a site of mourning. Flowers, candles, handwritten notes. People who didn't know these children standing outside the home on West 79th Street because they needed to do something, because doing nothing felt impossible. Cianerica Pug, aunt to several of the victims, was photographed being comforted outside the home the morning after. No words can capture what that family is going through. This case has reignited urgent conversations across Louisiana and the country about domestic violence, about gun access for convicted felons, about how the mental health system does and doesn't catch people before they fall. Elkins had sought help. His family had noticed the warning signs. The system had a window. And 8 children still died. 8 names, 8 lives, 8 futures that will never be written. May they be remembered not by the way they died, but by the love they were given and the joy they brought to the world in the short time they were here. This case raises so many painful questions about the mental health system, about how convicted felons can still access firearms, about the warning signs that existed in plain sight. Do you think the system failed these children? Were there moments where intervention could have changed everything? And for those of you who work in domestic violence advocacy, mental health services, or law enforcement, what do you see in a case like this? Drop your thoughts below. These conversations matter. Awareness saves lives. If this video moved you, please share it. Not for the algorithm, for Jayla, for Saria, for all 8 of them. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.